Welcome to Corrective Consciousness Podcast episode 130. This is an extension of our MAGFest discussion that happened on Tuesday for Reactive Consciousness. So please do check out our previous episode this week for the first part of the discussion. Without further ado, this is Minty Mitz with the continuing discussion of our coverage on bullshit side quests. Enjoy.
What's that game that you had where you have to wait like 2-3 hours for that moon or sun to show up in that game?
Majora's Mask?
I don't know, to like the last piece or something.
Well,
like that.
for one, there was Braid, like where you have to wait like 2 hours in real time to get like a star, and then there's like Breath of the Wild I can think of.
That's what I immediately thought of.
Okay, in Braid that was really dangerous because I got for the Xbox 360. Or like it was a legitimate concern the console would overheat and die.
Oh no!
That's
Yeah.
a horse of concern then.
Luckily, you could buy one of the later models, and you don't have those issues anymore.
Yeah, thank God you can spend another $300 on a different console.
It's not $300 anymore; it's $100.
Well, not anymore, but yeah.
I mean, for me, it was my third Xbox 360 after returning it several times after breaking.
Jesus.
I managed to have one 360
Yeah, me
for
too.
the whole time, and it overheated once.
Mine overheated
And I
once.
think I just sent it back, but I got it back and it was fine.
Yeah, I had one of the original 360
original one.
Elites.
I didn't have the Elite.
Yeah, I got one of the very first Elites because I was waiting. I knew that they would add an HDMI port to the system. A lot of people forget that now, that the original models did not have HDMI ports.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah,
they didn't. They had RGB.
yeah.
On the 360?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah,
Wow.
they had you could do VGA, you could do
The
components.
360 did VGA?
Yes.
Wow,
Yes.
okay.
That's how old it is.
Yeah.
But even aside from being old, like, I thought the Dreamcast was just it.
And that's how Microsoft wanted to be different from PlayStation in a way too.
Well, people forget PS3 came out like 2 years after
Yeah.
the Xbox 360, and it was considered the premium option at the time.
Yeah, but how many people were regularly running VGA?
Well, think about it. Also, what was going on during that time period? This was before everybody had transitioned to HD TVs.
Yeah.
Same with me. I wasn't using VGA.
Well, yeah, but I mean, what's your choice? You
Composite, just whatever.
But it came with composite and VGA.
VGA.
Okay.
It had one cable that you could pick which one you're.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that. Alright.
VGA was the premium option. You know?
Yeah, well, yeah, that's the thing. I'm thinking like Dreamcast, where like if you want a VGA cord, then go out and buy one. And we were just like, whatever, I can still watch TV.
Well, think about it this way. At the time, you may have had a high-definition monitor,
Yeah.
but not a high-definition television. If you were a gamer, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like your family hadn't upgraded, but you may have done it to your computer, so you could use VGA for a higher
Yeah,
resolution.
so remember that like Microsoft has always been like trying to like slowly push the console market towards being a little bit more PC-like, or toward more like set-top box-like.
They basically made it that way now. I mean, if you've noticed that basically an Xbox One is just a gaming computer now. There's literally no difference between buying a really nice gaming computer and an Xbox One X right now. Like all of their formerly console exclusive titles have made the transition over with their blessing.
Yeah. Now that Sunset Overdrive is on the Windows,
Yeah, that was a surprise.
Like, the last like really big thing that you could only play on an Xbox One without having a gaming PC.
The only thing left is Halo, and Gears of War, or not Gears of War. Gears of War.
That is kind of strange, though, because Halo was originally also on PC, like 1 and 2 at least.
1 and 2 were, but under strange conditions. Halo 1
Well, 2 had that odd Vista Microsoft Live or
it's
something.
still only Vista only compatible.
Yeah,
you can't
it's
play
bizarre.
it with you can't play it with Windows 10. So you literally need Windows Vista to play it. And it came out a lot later after the initial release, and same thing with the original Halo. Original Halo was released maybe 2 or 3 years after.
What was the original Halo, like XP?
Oh yeah, it was a Windows XP game at the time. May have even been a Millennium game, but like it wasn't exclusive. It wasn't exclusive. So, and anyway, it was a Microsoft has actually basically made the transition.
I wouldn't be surprised that their new console has no exclusives whatsoever.
Yeah.
They really just want people to use it as a platform.
Yeah, that's fair.
And make it easy for kids or people that do not want to build a gaming PC. I mean, and that's fair. I mean, a really good gaming PC costs like $3,000.
It's way expensive.
$2 to $3,000, even if you're being frugal. I mean, if you want a moderate one that'll be outdated soon, you could probably get away with $1,000 to $1,500, maybe. But that's also if you're not starting from scratch, like if you have some parts lying around, and you don't mind it being outdated eventually. I made a $3,000 one a really long time ago, and it's still really good. All I had to do was update my graphics card. So,
but at the same time, if you buy a gaming console, it's also good for like 4 to 5 years, and all you have to do is update the console.
Exactly. I'm not saying it's not the better solution. It is. But
that's the cost analysis that you're making to yourself when you're planning on being a console versus a PC gamer for the foreseeable future.
I mean, I'm really dumb. I'm into everything. So I mean, I have an Xbox One that I never play. I you know what I use my Xbox One for? I use it to play better versions of original Xbox games and Xbox 360 games.
I mean, I'm into consoles for the exclusives, so if they get outdated, I don't consider it outdated. It's just this is where I can play these games. Like Super Nintendo, yeah, that's outdated, but what if I want to play Donkey Kong Country? I'm not doing that on anything. I guess there's eShops, but I don't want to buy the same game.
For all the other places where Donkey Kong Country.
Yeah, but I still have to rebuy the same game then, though.
Emulator.
Yeah, you could also emulate it.
That's how I play my Super Nintendo games if I ever want to play them.
Yeah, fair enough, but I mean, I just being able to do it with the keyboard. I know there are dongles with controllers and everything, but I just never got used to that.
It is the one advantage to MAGFest. The reason why I still hang out in the classic gaming area a lot is because yes, I can play any game that I want over an emulator, but how would I know out of the 800 Super Nintendo titles or whatever, aside from minus the ones that I already played, the remaining 750 or whatever, how would I know which ones of them are actually engaging?
Well, you could go to the obscure games panel and get it canceled.
That's how obscure they are.
So that was the only really out. So I appreciate that a few years ago I got the recommendation to play what was it, Icarus, Proud Bottom, and Curse of the Chocolate Fountain.
That game. Google that shit.
So that was not a console release. That was made for a game jam in 24 hours, and it shows, but it was a labor of love. And quite polished. I was trying to explain the conceit of the game to a couple of friends of mine who hadn't been going to MAGFest in years past. They were looking it up on their phones and just cracking up in the middle of national pastime.
I mean, the last one that I went to, or maybe last two obscure video game panels that I went to, I learned about Arm Joe, which is quite possibly the funniest.
About that at Otakon.
It's quite possibly the funniest fighting game ever made. It is a game based. It's a fighting game based on Les Miserables, and there are all kinds of you can play as all the main characters, plus other ones that they invented, like Robot Jean Valjean.
Yeah, it's amazing. Well, the funny thing
is, uses Cosette as a weapon, he smacks people with her.
That sounds like a Mugen character.
Yeah.
Well, what's also funny though is the name.
The name is hilarious.
Yeah, because Les Miserables is how we know it, but in French it's Mojo or something like that, which is isn't it
No. Les Miserables is French.
It is.
In Japan.
Oh, Japan. It's
in Japanese, it's Amajo means
those poor people,
the miserable people.
Yeah. So Mojo, Arm Joe.
It's probably not the same people, but I went to panels like that when I went to Otakon, which is where I learned about the Simple series. I looked about.
Yeah, those are fun. Yeah,
zombie hospital, ambulance zombie or something like that, where you drive an ambulance and you have to hit zombies with it and pick up people, save them, and then
so stupid.
I heard about that, and that's where I heard about the One Chambara and the
Earth Defense Force games.
Yeah. And also it's where I heard about. I forget the name of the game, but it's a game where you're high class women and you're supposed to slap each other.
Okay.
There's one where it's just
a game that caters to buying you.
I think it's just straight up baby wrestling. Your babies and in diapers that wrestle each other. There's
and their insecurities.
There's a semi-sequel to Splatterhouse Wanpaku Graffiti.
What?
Yeah. There's all kinds of bullshit. There's the 200-foot woman video game. I think it's called Destruction Girl or something like that. Like the European version.
Oh, that sounds familiar. Didn't Retro Gamer send that to you?
Yes. So you are a girl in a bikini who is like, Godzilla size, and you're destroying the city.
That's just it?
Yep. Yep.
Although, actually, no, going back to what OldManStompy said, though, like, being able to just, like, see if the games are worth playing and stuff, what's also cool is that sometimes MAGFest does have esoteric setups, like, Mario Kart Double Dash that's, like, configured for 8 players, because it's got, like, the LAN connection, which is kind of cool.
They have the Pokemon Snap this year, the Pokemon Snap, like, the photo booth.
Oh, neat!
Oh, nice.
And with like, the print, like, you can actually print out.
I don't know if you can. They have, like, the game attached to it with an N64 controller.
Oh, cool.
I was trying to figure out what it was. I just saw this like cabinet out of the corner of my eye that looked like a gumball machine.
Yeah.
I remember playing with that when I was a kid, because my local Blockbuster had one.
Mm-hmm.
And what was neat was I rented the game from Blockbuster and then like printed out my photos
we did that
there.
too. I thought that was part of the reason why people want Pokemon Snap to come back, because like now in the digital age, it's much easier to make use of.
Well, that's
like,
what everyone was excited
the
about for the
social aspect.
Wii U, like Fatal Frame and Pokemon Snap.
Mm-hmm.
One of them they delivered anyway.
Well, no, people are complaining that it didn't come out until the end of the life cycle of the Wii U.
What, Fatal Frame?
No, Pokemon.
Well, Pokemon Snap did, but it was just the N64 port.
No, they want a
anyway.
sequel.
Yeah.
What people want is a sequel.
Yeah.
And
Like an actual
not
move
on-
the Wii pad
Not
around.
on rails.
Well-
Yes, that definitely.
I think it would be really good on the Switch in particular, but God only knows if they'll revisit that. I have the feeling that somebody.
Well, they're doing weird stuff now. They got the Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. That's not overly weird, but it's not quite the regular Pokemon formula. They got Detective Pikachu. So, like, why not do the Snap thing?
I think there must be somebody high up that just did not like that game, hated making it, and then now they're in a high enough position to veto
There were
it.
only 63 Pokemon, and there should have been 64. Fuck this game. We're never doing it again.
I mean, that's like the producer of Metroid,
Yeah.
is jealous
He
of
got salty
Metroid
that
Prime
Prime got better.
and how Other M like got shat on when that came out. So he's like, no more Metroid.
It's also that like Nintendo's made a whole bunch of like widget Pokemon games, of which Snap appears to have supposed to have been one of them.
Yeah.
They made like the Poke Park games,
Sure.
they made Pokemon Channel, right? Like these are not good Pokemon games. They're not deep. They don't, and like the whole point is just to walk around and meet the other Pokemon, just like it is the Snap.
Yeah.
So like I guess to them it's
It was cool at the time because 3D.
It's arbitrary that Pokemon Snap turned out to be like the one that endured and that like everybody from that particular generation really likes.
Was
But there
also-
might be like some kid right now who's like turning 15 or whatever and really wants like Poke Park 3 for the Switch.
Well, no, regarding Pokemon Snap, though, what's funny is that, like, if they were to make a new Pokemon Snap, I actually think that would be pretty cool. But, like, if you go back and play old Pokemon Snap, it's okay. It's like a couple of hours long if you know what you're doing.
There is a self-selection, and I've noticed this in like the people that people our age want in Smash Brothers. They're all like characters from around the end of the SNES era to like
Yeah.
the mid N64 era, and everything else just seems not.
Gino.
Gino. I guess Waluigi is a little bit outside of the.
Well, he's kind of a meme anyway.
He's like the N64 era.
Oh yeah, that's right. He's in Mario Tennis.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So that's
Yeah,
right.
that is true.
So he's an N64 character.
Yeah.
What else? So like when people talk about like Master Chief or like Minecraft Steve being in
Minecraft Steve.
being in Smash Brothers, that seems to like not really move the needle.
He has no gender.
Steve.
Yeah. Isn't he like? Did
No,
they
there's a
say he
female.
had?
There's a female Minecraft person.
Yeah,
now,
but
so.
they said that he doesn't have any gender, like technically.
I mean, Steve was in.
He's a block.
They were in
Story mode,
Super,
right?
Super Meat Boy.
oh,
right,
okay.
As a character, and he was broken.
Really?
Well, because he can do Minecraft, so like, what's the point in a platformer if you can like make blocks and?
That's pretty great.
That is a point. How did they even like put his mechanics like in that
Well,
game?
I think that's it. I remember you need to have like 95 or 90% of the game complete or so to actually unlock him. So you don't get very much.
so it's not
benefit.
really cheating.
But so it's basically
Yeah.
like I played a game once called Anodyne.
Oh, okay.
Like a Zelda style game.
I've heard of that, yeah.
Where at the end you get the ability to like swap the tiles of the game. and it's designed so that there are certain areas, like secret areas, that you can do at the end of the game that you can't reach until you can like swap the game tiles. But as a whole, that ability is like really broken because you can just go wherever. You can there's no way to make a boundary to the player because they can just swap the tiles out of the way.
That's like the Chicago typewriter in Resident Evil. You only get it once you've like mastered the game.
Yeah, even regenerators is just like you forget the whole X-ray or the infrared sensor with the trigger like key points to hit them in. It's just like just shoot them a bunch and they'll just die in like a couple of seconds.
Yeah. So I'm getting back to our board game discussion. I really want to play this Dark Souls game. It seems like a lot of people like it. A bunch of people have stopped me in the hallway.
Wait, really?
Yeah, when he was
Literally
bringing it into
3
the
people
hotel,
have-
like, oh, Dark Souls, like, because like that's
People have asked me for my phone number to play it with.
Yeah,
them.
like you said, it's a Kickstarter game,
Interesting.
so like a lot of people might not have known this existed, or if they did, they probably don't have it. Cause
Or
it's
he
like,
could just be a guy carrying around a box with Dark Souls on it.
I know, yeah. What a troll.
That should have been my cosplay.
The box is a mimic. it eats you.
Cool, yeah, just bites you.
Actually,
That's
somebody went around as a
interesting.
mimic today from Dark Souls.
Wow.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
great.
That'd be interesting if you took the box and like got another thing to hold all your pieces in because all the expansions you want them in one place. But instead of recycling the box, you have it so you have like these legs that fold in.
Oh god.
And like teeth. So then what you do is you give it to someone and they open it up and just like the legs pop out and the teeth. It goes ah.
Yeah, no, it could be the Dark Souls 2 mimic where it walks like a backwards bridge. Yeah, like a lobster.
Like a crab, yeah.
Kind of like a crab, but like forward and backward. It's just like,
Ugh.
yeah, it's actually easier to deal with than a Dark Souls 1 mimic. But when you first see it, you're like, ah.
I think that's the point, is to get that gotcha moment of like,
Yeah.
what the fuck?
The only thing it does differently is like it might leap forward when you try opening it instead of just you open it and you're dead. Well, no, I think if you open it you're still dead. But like if you hit it, it takes a while to get set up. But then it kind of like lunges at you and you're like, oh no.
Yeah.
But I'm excited.
Spin.
I'm excited to play the game because doesn't it like have content from like all the Dark Souls games?
I'd have to take a look.
The base game I think is pretty much from 1 and 3, but I have like the old Iron King expansion, so that was 2. But I think it's mostly 1 and 3 because 2 still is. 2's a solid game, but it is the black sheep of the series.
Gotcha. I'm excited because it,
Not
you
many
know.
sheep.
What was it?
It's only 3 sheep in the series.
Yeah.
That's when.
It's the second sheep of the series.
But yeah, I'm excited to play it because you know I've been into the game you know since it's funny that I only like really started loving that game at like the second half that I was playing it. Yeah.
Well, no, it's funny because I mentioned this before, but the irony is that some people say that that's where Dark Souls starts losing them because you can go anywhere and see where you're allowed to go in the first half, but the second half it's like these are the locations you need to go to fight the bosses, and they're like, all right.
I more liked it because like I felt like even when I was losing I had a chance, where the first when I first started playing the game I was very stressed out and maybe it was my own fault or
Well, the only
It is if you go to the graveyard skeletons first.
yeah, well, and everyone does because they're like, let me circle
didn't
the
know
because
about
it's
that.
easier to
Area.
fuck.
no, because I was just checking
I
the
went
perimeter of
downstairs.
Firelink.
Yeah,
I went
exactly.
down the
Oh, well, yeah,
But
no,
the
yeah,
same
there's
thing in Dark Souls 3 when you go past the first boss. You know how you go to the Firelink Shrine. If you go around to the left, you have this
Oh, that
samurai.
dumbass.
Oh.
I actually kept trying to fight him, and he backed off the world, so I killed him by
Oh,
him
there you
being a
go.
dumbass. And I'm like, yes, I got it.
No, there's one friend of ours, Woody, who had he wasn't familiar with the Dark Souls formula, which is, you know, this area might not work, so check somewhere else. He was still under the belief that if I can go there, that's probably the place I should go. So he actually beat the catacombs first. After a million tries, he was like, "Wow, this game is hard."
But I think like my
They were
thing with
kidding.
yeah,
my thing with Dark Souls and like Bloodborne, I like it because even when I'm losing, I feel like I'm getting better.
Yeah.
And like because normal enemies are a challenge.
yeah.
But sometimes his bosses were frustrating because, like,
Well,
granted, you have to learn their patterns, but sometimes I don't feel like studying a game.
Well, what's frustrating about bosses is that you have to get back to them. So, like, you finally, you lost and you were close to winning, and now you gotta get back there. It's
Yeah.
like,
There are
man,
some annoying.
So,
boss
like Aladdin's and
charges.
Demon Souls, just like, god damn it.
The reason that can become stressful is that like Dark Souls is structured kind of Metroidvania-like, not necessarily that it is a Metroidvania. It's its own game.
Sure.
But you know, a lot of the time, even in Metroidvanias, even if the area that you're in is hard, if you have to go back through it later because there was something you wanted to pick up, you know that you can usually blow your way through it. And in Dark Souls, yes, eventually you become powerful enough that like regular combat against older enemies isn't really that much of a threat to you. But generally speaking, the game always has like some non-trivial chance of killing you everywhere you are, everywhere you go. You know, so there's none of that like open feeling that comes with gaining significant power in a game. It's just always like hanging in the back of your head that you have to like look around every corner and always have your bow ready or whatever your primary like your initial instigating weapon is.
Well, the one thing I found frustrating, I don't know how many people actually ran into this problem, but you know how in Dark Souls 1, if you have not placed the Lord Vessel, then some areas are like yellow fogged off, like you're just not getting in there. You're probably going to see that in non-Orlando, because that place is right there. The other places are in the Tomb of the Giants and Lost Izalith, but like the Demon Ruins area just looks like endgame territory, so you're like, maybe I'll wait till the end of the game for that. On Orlando, you will pass by it and see just the yellow fogs.
Considering it's hell and it's filled with mini bosses.
Maybe I'll come back. On Orlando, you're just gonna see. But like, if for some reason you actually chose to power your way through the catacombs early game, and God forbid you made it through the Tomb of the Giants, you would be like, wait, this area is blocked, and you just have to fucking walk back all the way through.
There's no warps yet. Oh,
yeah, because like
shit.
Walking backwards.
Homeward Bone.
Yeah,
to the last bonfire.
Yeah, you could homeward bone to the area right before the boss in the Tomb of the Giant. Like, so, like, even if you somehow did it in one shot and there were no enemies left, just navigating that place backwards
just think somebody had that experience. I don't know.
Somebody must have somewhere.
Probably some small percentage of people who played the game, but somebody did that.
I mean, Tomb of the Giants is, like, restrictively hard, but, like, if you felt like, I just have to beat this, and then you just can't, it's like, oh, you need to do something before fighting. And the yellow fog is, like, the thing with the yellow fog on Orlando is it's blocking off an entire dungeon. Same goes for Lost Izalith, but, like, in Tomb of the Giants, it's blocking off
the boss,
like 2 rooms before the boss. So like you've basically done everything, and it's like, no, walk back to Firelink. Like, what a nightmare.
Ugh. Well, I'm excited to play the game because I want to see what they did with the mechanics of the game. Like I don't know if you like maybe you could pick a character that could backstab. I don't even know have any concept
I
of how it
can
works.
tell you that there are different character classes and they have different starting equipment. And I think you could pick and choose, like, among a certain amount of experience what levels you're going to start with, like in the video game. But otherwise, I think outside the context of the video games, each character class has a unique one-time use that you can recharge at the bonfire, like character unique ability. Unless it's in Dark Souls 3, I think that's just made up for the board game. But, like, you can activate something, so you might want to save it for a boss or a tough encounter, because it's gone once you've used it, again, unless you recharge at the bonfire or die, which involves recharging in the bonfire.
It might be like in 3 weapons have like, I don't know how to explain it. It's not like a charge mechanic, but they have like a secondary like attack you can do.
Oh, like Dark Souls 3?
Yeah. So that might be where they got it from.
Maybe.
I'd have to look at what the skills are.
Yeah, this is a character class thing.
Oh, yeah, it's not class. Yeah. It's a weapon thing in the game, but I'd have to see what their names are to see if like they just put them to a class or something like that.
Yeah, I don't remember what they're called, so maybe.
I don't know. But anyway, I'm looking forward to that, and I'm also looking forward to playing Binding of Isaac, which I got in the mail.
What kind of card game is that again? Because I know that when you showed it, someone showed it on Facebook, I was like, oh, this looks interesting.
I thought it was kind of like Munchkin, if I remember right, but I could be wrong. Because I didn't look at the rules or anything like that. I didn't even take it out of its box. So, it could be anything. But I'm looking forward to it just because I would think that, like, when Edward McMillan makes something, like, he puts all of his heart into it. So I would think that it would be good and would be at least fun. I'm looking forward to that. But anybody else thinking of any other board games they want to try before they leave?
Well, this isn't so much try, but Luminaire brought Mansions of Madness. I do look forward to playing that once or twice.
I would like to play that too.
Yeah.
I'm not, because the board game library is pretty crap, but and all the games that I brought are games that I've played before, but I did buy...
That's unusual. Usually it's pretty
Usually
decent,
it's
right?
not that great. And also having been to PAX Unplugged and Dice Tower Con, which are board game conventions, the library is severely lacking. It's like, it's mainly games for people who don't play games that often.
Oh.
But I brought a whole bunch of board games that I own, but I played them before. But there was a game that I bought yesterday called Railroad Inc. It's kind of like Welcome to. It's like a roll and write game, but you have dice that you roll to see like what tracks you need to put on your thing, and you have to write them in. You have to connect like different exits to get points. And it's really cool because there's that, and I got the Burning Red expansion, which also has it comes in expansion where there's also like lava pits and like meteors that you have to put somewhere to destroy a piece of road.
It sounds like Overcooked.
Yeah, and then there's another expansion.
It's a mundane thing with crazy stuff happening.
There's another not expansion, but another game, railroading game called Deep Blue, which has the base game, but also it has some like 2 other expansions that comes with. So the games by themselves are only 1 to 6 players, or 2 to 6 players. But if you have both expansions, it's 2 to 12 players.
Oh, that's cool.
Because it's like white erase markers that you use or dry erase markers that you use. But it's really cool because you can combine them and you can use all the expansions together. So it's like a really cool idea. I haven't played it yet. I just heard it's really good, and I'm hoping they make more because I could see them expanding that. And I'm just thinking though, if you have like 4 different games,
you have 48 players,
2 to 48 players, 2 to 24 players.
Would you kickstart an expansion?
If this game was kickstarted, I would.
Okay.
Because I know that they would have done a Kickstarter and released it. But if that would be the first Kickstarter, I'd wait until it came out.
Jeez, a Kickstarter for an expansion, doesn't that like seem like the base game
so
should
like
be that?
The like Coup universe, like they're full games, but the subsequent games in the Coup universe have all been kickstarted. Right?
Really?
Yeah. Including the upgrade. What's the?
I forgot what it was called. Was that new one? We played last year.
C54 Rebellion or something like that.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Randomize the
you randomize the rolls.
That was pretty entertaining.
I mean, that kind of reeks of what they did with Pinball Arcade. They kickstarted like almost all of the licensed tables for like the pinball tables, like Addams Family and Twilight Zone and things like that. Anything that they had where they had to get a likeness. And that ended up working out well because like they're like, okay, well if we kickstart this game, this basically just pays for them, and then everything else is
like for board games. You can sell the game and you know how many people sold it, but you don't know really how many people are still playing it. So sometimes it's hard to take a good estimate of whether or not it's worthwhile to release an expansion.
That makes sense. Well, why don't they check online and see who's logged in?
Yes. That was thank you for explicitly saying what I was trying to make a sideways reference.
But regarding other games we'd like to play, one other thing that I'm kind of curious about is this is another thing where I did not look at the rules, but that's because I only received the thing on Wednesday because this was Kickstarted as well. But I got an American McGee card game called Out of the Woods that's a take on various fairy tales. Like the name implies
American McGee taking on various fairy tales.
I know, whoa. But like the name of the game implies like
that's
Hansel
crazy talk.
But the name of the game implies Hansel and Gretel or Red Riding Hood or something, but I think it covers a bunch of bases.
Yeah, is he gonna make anything else ever again? Like,
he did. This is a while back, but he did make that. Oh no, I'm forgetting the name.
Grimm.
Well, that's
Fairy
Tales.
Yeah.
I mean, Grimm. But no, what was
but that came out like when Game Tap was still around, which is like 10 years ago at this point.
So, he made the most recent thing he made was other than this physical card game was Acanero, which is a free-to-play Red Riding Hood Steam game. But but there's also, what was the name, like that's not Fairy Tale. This is killing me that I don't remember the name, but like where you're robots piloting like vehicles like on the original Xbox. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Fairy Tales?
Oh,
Robot Fairy Tales, that's the game.
Scrapland?
Yes, Scrapland. That's the one.
That was American McGee.
Yeah, it's called American McGee Scrapland.
So I'm always reminded like.
Yeah, but that was the original Xbox.
But it's not
like
Fairy Tale.
15 years ago.
It's not Fairy Tale. It's fine.
I always think of like the Mega Man story where like by the time they got to like Mega Man 6 for the NES, people were like, please stop making Mega Man. Like they're all the same game all the time. and now people are like, just make another Mega Man game, please. That's as good as the old ones. Like
we've seen Money Never Dies. Please make Mega Man.
And they did, and it wasn't really that great.
What? Mega Man 11, a lot of people like.
Vice, I don't think you're appreciating the biggest flaw of that game. When you jump into a boss door and it opens, you hit the ground before it opens. It's bullshit.
Fans
0 out of 10.
Fans of Mega Man.
0 out of 10.
So I just read a whole article about Kenny Omega and about how like he was a Mega Man themed wrestler for a really long time. And that was part. Well, I mean, it wasn't where his name came from. But I remember watching when he ascended to heavyweight in his big match. Well, that's his Twitter handle, actually.
That's so good.
He used to like steal the finishers of wrestlers that he beat, and then he would use them in his next matches, and that was part of his gimmick. And he also came out to Mega Man music to like really hammer the point home that he was a Mega Man theme wrestler, and he hated Mega Man 11. He wrote an entire article for Giant Bomb, I think, about how much he hated Mega Man 11.
It's brutal.
Maybe he's just trying to play the heel, though.
No, I think he really hated the game.
He's gone Kenny Mega Sigma virus.
Yes, that's exactly.
Kenny Sigma. Oh no, he's gone to the dark side. He's gone Maverick.
Oh, it looks like Sigma isn't involved this time. Oh wait, no, he is.
Yeah, don't worry, it's not Dr. Wily, it's Dr. X, I promise.
It's like literally just Dr. Wily in a cape.
Well, they're not even hiding it later on in the series. They're kind of making fun of the trope.
That's why it was so funny that Mega Man X8 it actually wasn't Sigma as the final boss.
But he was still, as the final boss, but Sigma was still there. Who was the final boss? Was some other Epsilon
Luminaire? Epsilon was the command mission.
Luminaire. It was Luminaire.
It was Luminaire.
I was the final boss.
The same Luminaire.
I remember that. The motion capture was weird.
And her voice acting was terrible, like everyone else's voice acting in that game.
And he kept making Scooby-Doo impressions. It was terrible.
Burn to the crowd!
Burn to the crowd! That was X7.
We'll fix it in post.
Oh, it was 7. That's right, 8 was bad. Although, Vile sounded like a surfer dude that pissed me off.
Yes.
The hell was that?
So I recently watched Maverick Hunter X, the Mega Man X PSP game.
That was great.
Vile is insane. Like, he has his own mode, and like all of his weapons have like really stupid names.
This I did not know.
His opening grenade launcher is called the Bumpity Boom.
The gobbledygooker.
And they're all of that vein. They're all
That's amazing.
They're all like a mishmash of words. He crafts them from the bosses that he beats.
That's
so they're all like a
badass.
There's one that's called like the violent ghost, or I don't know. They all
That's
have like
kind of cool. I like the
they sound like
Bumpity
JRPG. And he
Bumpity
sounds
Boom's
like,
hilarious.
and when he talks to the other Reploids, when he's like fighting through the storyline, he sounds like his dad like took away his car keys or something.
I'm gonna beat you.
He kind of does, yeah. Very angsty.
That's such a shame that game is locked to the PSP.
Here you go.
It's funny that Vile is like his coolest incarnation is like in the Mega Man cartoon. I'd say it was nice knowing you, but I'd be lying.
They're not all funny, but there's the Zip Zapper.
That's not bad.
Cherry Blast, Buckshot Dance, Distance Needler, 777.
There's a lot. But
Humorous Crush, Popcorn
Humorous
Demon.
Crush!
Yeah, what?
It's humorous
Popcorn
as
Demon.
in the bone.
Humorous.
Still!
Yes. Popcorn Demon.
Like, what am I sliding into your shins?
Bonsai Beetle, Lost Lamb.
I kind of like Popcorn Demon.
Serotinial Bullets.
What? No, Bumpity Boom was the winner, but...
Go Get Her Right, Spoiled Brat.
Spoiled Brat?
Egotistic Phil.
These are dumb names. Okay.
Golden Right, Infinity Gig.
So, and like you have to select your loadout. It's not like regular Mega Man. You have to pick, you have to pick which weapons you equip at the start of the level. So
Cerberus Phantom is
Nervous
Ghost.
Nervous Ghost.
It tells
Nervous Ghost.
So
Straight Nightmare.
What does a ghost have to be nervous about? It's already dead.
Double Ghost.
The most
Quick Homesick.
Yeah, that's the one. The quick. So it's the quick boomerang, and it comes back to you. That's why it's homesick. That's
on.
That's why it's the boomer quanger one, and you have to have it to pick up a lot of items because Vile can't do the air dash like
Bumpity Boom was the
Territorial Pow. Bang Away Bomb.
That's not bad. Bumpity Boom was the funniest, but like some of those are like all tied for second place.
Nervous Ghost.
The Dead Star Hug.
What?
Wow.
That's one of his balls.
This honestly just
one of them.
This honestly just sounds like names
Sword
that
Bouquet.
weren't properly translated or localized.
Yes.
It's just like this sounds like you know how if you look up any of the Mega Man X bosses, they all have like much more Japanese sounding names.
Except for that one where they were all named after like Guns N' Roses references in America for some reason.
Slash Eagle.
Well, the funny
Duff Whalen.
Duff
McWhalen.
Well, the funny thing about that was a coincidence. Like the person didn't even know that there were musical connotations with Rockman, so they were just like, I like Guns N' Roses. So it was like a stupid decision that ended up working out surprisingly well.
Right.
Yeah, it's like Guilty Gear. All those characters are named after people.
Yeah, but that's on purpose.
Yeah,
like that was the Japanese intent.
That's on purpose.
He thought he was being a rebel.
Yeah, but but for Mega Man X5 though, like the localizer was like, I just like Guns N' Roses, so I'm just gonna for no fucking reason put them on these bosses, and it happened to work by like amazing coincidence.
Too.
Yeah.
The Koopalings are like that.
Yeah,
too.
The Koopalings are also like, I don't know why they did it, but okay.
Only in America do they actually only gave them names in America.
Yeah, well that was also kind of a dumb decision. Like we like them now because we grew up with them. them, but like in retrospect, it's like, why would you do that?
You know that Mariah Carey had a lot of trouble choosing her stage name until she read JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
That's same with Vanilla Ice. And Oingo Boingo.
I can't believe that Tom Petty ripped off of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Oh, Tom.
I can't believe that Dio ripped off of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I can't believe that everyone ripped off of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
That's not even the first random thing that would rip off of Dio in like Japanese culture. Because there's like an actual NES game called Holy Diver.
Oh yeah, that entire thing is like the one Holy Diver like music video. That's like just a video game.
Like, why would you choose that?
You play as the guy in the music video. It's like, all right, and that game's pretty cool too. It's just really hard.
The guy who invented the horns.
Oh.
Yeah.
He invented them.
Well, apparently,
I just like that word. Like,
either Dio or Gene Simmons did it, and I'm leaning towards Dio because he can't defend himself.
But just the word invented, like you stick two fingers up, like he invented. It just sounds kind of funny.
Well, it's
just like Mugatsu and Zoolander. I invented the piano cane necktie. I invented it. It's like it's a tie though.
Like in Texas college football, that's how you like root for your team.
Yeah,
so probably people were doing that for like decades before it was a thing in metal.
Yeah.
Well, he even said that Dio in an interview said like, I got it from my grandma because she's Italian and like she would put like the evil eye on you and that.
Well, I was gonna say like in Bram Stoker's Dracula, you make the signs of the evil eye.
Yeah. So that that's been
100 years old.
That's been a long time, but he was the first one to associate it with rock and roll. Like as like this is the way you say rock on. Like
I mean that is true, but even then, like rock and roll when it first came out, like metal had like a very satanic like. Connotation is the word. Thank you, Luminaire.
Yeah. Well,
so maybe he just rolled with it.
Gene Simmons said he was simply playing his guitar like that one day, and then.
Oh, that's kind of funny.
Yeah, but like, I don't believe anything Gene Simmons says. So he could be telling the truth, and Dio could be lying, but like, I'm still going to be on Dio's side.
His son ripped off of Bleach.
Like
really,
literally plagiarized like panels. From
like identical like.
Sounds like. His family?
Like, he might as well... like, it looks like he traced it and then added some features.
At some point, not during this podcast, but we'll save it for next one, I have to tell the story of the Kiss Demon wrestler. There's a Kiss Demon.
Is he like Dunk the Clown?
It was not.
Just
like
want a 10 count all night, or 3 count.
10 count.
It is 10 count?
No, it's 3 count. You had it right.
No, it's 10 in boxing.
It's boxing. Lotus boxing.
Boxing, Lotus boxing. But it's 10 in boxing and 3 in wrestling.
10 count is when you get knocked out of the ring.
Okay.
Yeah. But if you knock out the referee, you can go as long as you want.
So stupid.
Why don't more people do that?
The rules just don't apply. Why don't they make the whole wrestling ring out of the black box?
Nobody else. It's not like anybody else official is watching this.
It's not like thousands of people are watching this. Yeah.
Usually, a second referee will come just in time for a pinfall. Like they'll come out from the back somehow.
Why does he have a helmet on?
Why are there several referees all the time?
Yeah.
They just have like lots of referee shirts back there waiting to be filled.
Yeah. So I think it's in baseball. It does occasionally happen that one of the 4 umpires gets injured and they have to like fill in with only 3. They do not keep a spare umpire.
Like gets hit by like a ball.
Especially gets hit by a batted ball or gets hit in the face with a pitch. Yeah.
Wow, that's really unusual.
Do the other umpires run over to the injured umpire and declare that he is not safe?
The other umpires transform into an amorphous blob and then re-split into 4 smaller umpires.
And then this guy riding a spider comes out of the side.
Yeah, the motorcycle crosses the bases, which explode. Other than the name Blurns, you got nothing right at all.
I really want to make a pinball table that, like, there are pinball tables...
That has amorphous blobs?
Yes. There are pinball tables that imitate, like, baseball.
Yeah.
And they're not pinball. They don't use, like, flippers. I guess they're technically pinball.
Oh, I think I know what you mean. Yeah, you, like, flick the bat at the bottom of the thing and it sends the ball wherever.
They're the size of a pinball table.
Well, the new Mario Party has a minigame that is one of those. It's super clever.
Yeah, but I want to make... I want to make Blurn's ball out of that.
Yeah, like you don't want to hit the ball into the holes that say out, but you do want to hit them into the single, double, triple, or home run slots. Yeah, that's like a little kiddie game you hold in your hands.
I want, even OldManStompy has a couple of those at home. I think.
Yes, I have like a little wooden one.
Yeah, exactly those. Yeah.
I want to make a Blurnsball one with like ants and shit.
Nothing makes sense. Yeah.
I want to extrapolate the rules of Blurnsball that I do know.
I want to make a sports game.
Very little.
The rules are like totally random, and they have no idea what's going on most of the time.
You just take all the rules in every single sports like ever, and you randomize which one you pick, and it's like, all right, these are the 5 rules that my game has.
There's a game called I think it's in Finland. They decided that someone from America came over and showed them baseball, and they said that this sport is cool, but it's really boring. So there's a version of baseball called Pesapall, I think it's what it's called. That's how they play baseball in Finland. And it will feel like if you watch it for the first time, like you'll have no idea what's going on. The field is like straight and out, and the pitcher doesn't pitch. He just like chucks the ball up like from behind the batter, and the batter just hits it. So there's no actual there's no chance of striking out. The batter just like whacks the ball all over the place, and the base paths are like a zigzag.
Oh my god!
It's like then we put in wickets from croquet.
No, actually, no, regarding sports that you have no idea how they work, like there was this like British comedy duo that made like this was like just for parody, but there was like a game show, like this was like a sketch where there was a game show called Numberwang, and like you're watching it and you have no idea how anything works. It's like, can you guess the number to get Numberwang? It's like 3, no, 7, no, 8, no, 3. Like that is correct. It's like what? Like shit makes no sense. Like the loser at the end, they just put a bag over her head that has no written on it. It's like the funniest thing ever. It's amazing. It's like so perplexing. It's like this is what other countries' game shows must look like to countries that don't watch it normally.
Oh, there's a YouTube video. It's simply called "How to Play Chess." Good luck looking that up.
Oh man,
but
I've seen this. Yeah.
But it's quite good. It's like a British sketch, and it's just like like different like things that would happen during like a normal war happen like in chess. It's really
the
funny.
Reinforcements have arrived.
Yeah. It's just like the queen goes off in a deep depression, like
oh god,
like, stuff like that. Like it's really funny. It starts off pretty normal.
The pawns start calling for their mothers.
Yeah, it's just like shit like that, and it's really funny. I haven't seen it in years, but
this is kind of related, but about like chess and the silly thing.
The silly thing.
Someone made a. It's not updated. It's not like new, but like a version of chess where think of like you have the board, but you draft like what moves the different pieces can make.
Oh wow! Okay.
Oh, that's so cool.
Like you might have the pawns that might move normally, but you might also have pawns that can like jump over someone.
Oh god!
There was like a 4-player chess game like for the NES called like Archon.
Archon.
Yeah. Archon. Yeah. That actually, like it has different.
Actually,
really serious.
It has different chess rules, but it's actually kind of cool. Like it's balanced enough that like it doesn't look like a complete mess.
Nice.
It was one of the first chess games that have like a battle screen when a piece would capture another piece. Like it would cut to a little cutscene.
Actually, speaking of which, did that come before Battle Chess? Because Battle Chess is pretty old.
I think that also did it.
I remember Battle Chess.
I remember like Battle Chess looks so primitive now, but at the time I was like, whoa, like that! What a concept! Like watching the pieces fight.
When I was a kid, I really wanted the Star Wars Battle Chess, like for the Sega CD.
Have you looked at the moves of them? Because some of them are pretty crazy.
Yeah, but like looking back on it, I'm like, I'm glad I didn't like spend $50 on chess.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of the time, so like I used to, have a subscription to Nintendo Power, and I would just read their little, blurbs or like walkthroughs that make any game sound incredibly compelling.
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
When like Darkman for the NES looks cool.
When I'm a kid and I'm getting like a few dollars like a month in allowance at most, like I'm glad that I didn't blow my $50 in each one of these games one by one.
Another one was Daydream Davy. I was really looking forward to playing Daydream Davy. It was like, and it was a game made by HAL, so like it should have been, pretty decent, But what was cool about it was that it changed genres like constantly, and it was kind of like almost like a Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure kind of situation. Like you went into different eras.
Okay.
So that appealed to me as a kid. Like you started off in like medieval times and then go to cowboy times, that kind of thing. But apparently that game's a piece of garbage, and but
reviewed it.
Yeah, it's really bad. But I'm so glad that we're at that era where like
people get review copies, and like the reviewers are like often people like just like us.
Well, not only that, but like you can find opinions about everything, like almost immediately too. So I mean, like it might not be something you totally agree with, but generally by reading what somebody says, you could parse out the reviews and be like, okay, this person's full of shit. This is not the kind of person I identify with.
Well, not to mention, even in the context of a single review, you could probably tell when people had like when they're showing their bias as opposed to like this is a genuine flaw in the design or something.
Exactly.
Like I don't like this kind of game, therefore it's a 5 out of 10. Like, wait, what the hell are you even doing reviewing it then?
The best is like, man, a waste of $3. I'm like,
that's saying a lot.
Yeah. I've wasted more on a bottle of water. I mean, like, literally.
This is the worst bottle of water. 2 out of 10. Wasted $3.
I mean, like a dollar.
It back up again afterwards.
For me to really regret my dollar Steam purchase, I have to be like.
Well, that's another thing.
Like, I have to be caring way more about it.
Well, what also bothers me though is when people say, "Oh, this game isn't as long as I would like," but the price proportionally makes sense. It's like it's a $5 game. Like, why wasn't it 20 hours? It's like, well, what did you expect when you paid $5 for it? Like,
I wouldn't want it to be 20 hours long if I was buying a game for that cheap.
That's
like,
true too,
I would want it to match up.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think we have.
Is there anything else anyone's looking forward to for the rest, or that anyone else did at MAGFest?
I'm gonna play a lot of pinball. Jen and I like playing a lot of pinball, so I'm probably gonna go back to that. And they have my favorite table, Bride of Pinball, so I'm gonna lock some hours into that. Maybe Donkey Kong 3 while it's still not like on consoles. So
I'll probably give the dealer's room a once over, but then just hang out with other people in the tabletop room, because that like I already said, the tabletop area is where you can consistently be doing something without waiting in lines to play one arcade game for like 30 minutes.
Yeah, I might try to see if they have Solar Striker again, because I've been trying to play that. That's the like the 3D Gradius game. That was always taken up last year, so I want to see what they have.
If you want 3D Gradius, you need to play I forgot what it's called, but like something DS, but like the Vic Viper minigame in Zone of the Ender Second Runner.
Oh yeah. Well, let me see what else. I'm also looking forward to playing some shmups like that haven't gotten like a decent console port yet. Like there's some Pro Gear is one of the games that I really like that I was playing. And I had a bunch of fun with that, and I'll spend a bit of time there. But that's pretty much it. I mean, most of it's just gonna be hanging with you guys.
So I know that the composer of the Celeste soundtrack is doing autographs in about 45 minutes. So
oh, nice!
Oh, neat.
Probably the next thing I'm gonna do. Although I don't actually have anything for her to sign unless she's selling CDs or something.
Just get a picture with her selling.
Yep, my boob. that feels like a good way to get from
get her to sign my Switch. So my SD card.
I'm gonna bring your entire your fight stick.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I actually did bring it.
Tonight we're doing laser tag, trying that out.
I did that last year, I think.
My other group of friends are doing the bridge simulator again today, but probably staying in the tabletop room. I might head back to the dealer's room, see if there's anything new from yesterday, but I doubt it.
Yeah.
And I might check like the indie part in the arcade.
That's true. I do need to check the indie part.
I don't usually play anything, but I usually just walking around.
I want to do that, but like you have to go during the day, as opposed to the regular arcade or the console area. A lot of the people showing the games turn them off.
Right.
They're not available.
There was one interesting one in the indie that I saw. It was a horde mode set in Vector 80s style that had synth music and everything, and it's sort of Doom style. So like the really fast pace and the gun like does that movement.
Oh, neat.
I don't remember. I think it was called like Wave something, but that looked like something worth playing.
Nice. How about you, Minty Mitz?
I'm looking to play that sheep board game called Lowlands that I brought.
The game was actually recommended to us by
time.
Pyro because it was sheep themed like several months ago, and I bought it in August. And we've been trying to find a venue to like play with our friends.
It includes
I heard it was really
sheeps
good.
becoming 3 sheeps, and you put them in an enclosure, and then there's a flood coming, so you gotta build.
You have to save your sheep.
I'm getting sleepy just hearing.
My
Are you counting sheep?
I was sold on it
That's
when
the
the reviewers that you recommended to me said that like so you have 2 things to do. You have to build your farm and like raise your sheep, or you have to work on the dike, and if it doesn't reach a certain like height, then the flood waters come in and wash away all your like sheep and fences.
Can you put your thumb in the dike?
You cannot put your thumb in the dike. That is not.
Why
I
don't
mean,
you-
for
why
all I
don't-
know, that's what actually happens when you send the workers up there.
Why don't you just move to a different field and render the whole situation
It's
irrelevant?
supposed to be all of Ireland floods.
Oh damn! Well, why don't you move to another
Ireland.
UK country?
Move to a different Ireland.
Well, it'll kill all the
Actually,
snakes, that's for
Ireland's
sure.
in the UK,
So
nothing else.
the reviewer said that like people will always work on the dike, but then one person will always like just build up all their sheep and wind up with a fluffy ball pit by the end of the because there's like a breeding phase where for every X number of sheep you get X divided by 2 number of sheep.
You should try yelling at them and be like, "Don't be naughty! Don't be naughty!"
You need to have a big enough pen.
bad.
That's the only way to stop your sheep from making more sheep.
The only way to stop them.
And there's like a giant pile of sheep tokens. I was very happy about it.
I mean,
Don't play the game. Just like hold them.
yes.
Yes.
In a real farming
All for
situation,
me.
you separate the males from the females.
Well, you can't really tell.
In most board games that do that though, it's like they're not asexual because they do need two. You need two to reproduce, but they can change gender.
Arbitrarily.
There's another game that does that too, where it's like basically if you have 2 sheep, one of them just becomes pregnant, and then it turns into a new sheep, and then that one can breed with another sheep that you already have, becomes pregnant. Same with the cows.
It's fine.
So there's no gender; they just breed.
They just asexually like bud off, like a
Like-
fluff of wool comes off,
like umpires.
like
umpires.
Well, on that note, well, thank you for joining us for Reactive and Corrective this week. We will be back next week with a new regular group of episodes, or duo of episodes. But please definitely put your con experiences and your board game experiences below in the comments in order to interact with us a little bit, and we'll be sure to read a lot of those responses.
And if you're here, say hi.
Yeah.
which did happen, right? Last year, Lotus hosted a panel, and some people who would listen to the podcast came
Well,
up. And
I'm joking
They-
because by the
they
time
were
they hear
mostly
this,
us.
they can't say hi
yeah,
anymore.
yeah.
They were mostly us.
Oh yeah.
No, we had a couple. So that is the show for this week. We want to thank our fans that contributed questions, which we didn't read, and keep us supplied with awesome topics by submitting questions of your
You've
own
got 1 week, guys.
via the YouTube and SoundCloud pages.
This is a freebie.
We still haven't missed a week of recording, so we're doing pretty well here. While there, please give us. While there, please give us thumbs ups, likes, and 5-star ratings on iTunes. It helps promote and spread awareness of the show, and any bit of encouragement helps keep the show going. You can also catch us on Tuesdays on our sister podcast, Reactive Consciousness, the in-depth look at this week in our lives. Finally, you can friend me as vysethebold on Steam, PSN, Xbox Live, Twitter, Switch, and Battle.net.
And you can follow me on my YouTube channel, Lotus Prince. You can hit me up on Twitter at Lotus Prince. And finally, if you are interested in seeing my videos early, getting in on exclusive live streams, selecting upcoming games for me to Let's Play, or getting in with a chat with me and other patrons on Discord, then perhaps consider swinging by my Patreon account, which can be found at patreon.com/LotusPrince.
And you can find me as PyroJackFrost, PyroJackFrost on Steam, PSN.
Please don't find me.
Nintendo. I don't know. You think about it, you search for PyroJackFrost, and if I'm not there, I either don't want to talk to you, or I don't own it.
And this is moments after saying, if you're here, say hi.
He also said that to the people listening on Thursday.
It's like a post-dated check, but for social gatherings.
Please come to the Gaylord on Thursday, where we won't be here.
The best time for you to be here. And you'll anyway, you can find me as OldManStompy on most major gaming and social media networks. I hope the conference here next week at the Gaylord is exciting as MAGFest. 2 years ago, it was like an astronomy convention. We were surprised at how cool that sounded compared to what we had already.
My God, it's full of stars.
Yes, it was. That was what the first person who looked in the telescope said.
Nice.
Galileo. And I am Minty Mitz. You can find me playing a lot of random games.
Mostly, mostly Final Fantasy 14.
Yeah, they're really not random.
It's
they're
one
mostly
random
Final
game.
Fantasy 14, which has a really good story mode at the moment, right?
It has a great story. Yes. Too bad you have to play it for like 300 hours to get the story.
Really?
Yes.
That's bullshit.
What's an MMO like?
It's an MMO. That's why
you're not going to just advance.
Yeah. Anyway,
Got to the end though.
I'm a Momo.
And I'm Luminaire. And if you really want to, for some reason, hang out with me, harass one of these guys.
We're already being harassed.
Hey, I heard you know Luminaire. Another one.
That Minty Mitz will probably be playing random games at MAGFest, but that's completely useless to anybody listening to this podcast. Live.
Well, I don't know, right? This tends to go up really early Sunday morning, so they might have a very small window to find us. But this is the CoreCon part, so it's way too late by then.
It's Thursday. This is Thursday.
Oh, we're still recording.
Oh, that's right. And this will go up on Tuesday.
It's
yeah,
like,
it's a
like
disaster. It's all over.
So we've got a whole
this is up on the Thursday podcast.
Right.
Oh
Excellent.
no.
Yeah. So we will catch you next week, folks.
Until next time, everyone.
Bye.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.